I'm hearing I'm going to mute your line for just a moment. I'm getting some noise. Let me see what I can do with that.
From my side?
Yeah, it's like wind. Like if you have a fan or air conditioning close by. Okay, can you hear me still?
I can.
There we go. Okay. I do like having the
We are officially live. We have video. And I have video from you too.
You do?
Yeah.
Cool. Again, I need a green screen. As soon as I show up on the video feed, I think everyone who's listening will agree that I'm missing a green screen. And Pony Boy, you said there was a guy with a beard. Like this would not be a tech show if we didn't have at least one guy with a beard. It's actually there's a union law about that, so we had to do that.
Hmm.
So is my video not
Oh,
coming up?
no, I got your video. I'm just trying to find the best way to get you pulled in without problems. Other problems.
We're all about problems.
That's what I'm here to fix, and I'm dealing with my problems slowly, slowly.
Well, I'll deal with my technical problems, but I've got a whole lot of other problems that I don't think I'll be able to deal with anytime soon.
All right.
Need a wizard cape and a cloak. Give me just a moment. I'll be right back to grab mine, and then we'll be set. Cape and hat. Yeah. Well, either way, I'll wear. You tell me what to wear, and you got it.
Wait a minute.
Well, you have an option for me.
I had some deja vu for a minute.
You're like the voice of God in my ear there for a moment saying, you know how often I'm doing something in my life and I hear a voice that I can only assume is God that says, wait a minute.
You probably should listen to that.
Unfortunately, I haven't yet. Okay, since you're back now, I want you to hear what I am thinking about for intro music for us. Are you guys ready?
Sure.
Am I on the video yet, Gatoon?
I'm working on it.
Okay, cool.
You
All
are
right.
impatient.
No, I'm not. I was just.
He
Hey,
is. He is impatient.
Well, that's true. I guess you know that, don't you? Here we go.
Coming through a little hot there.
Is it? Well, thank you. Oh, you mean the audio's loud?
Yeah.
How's that?
I like some voiceovers.
Well, that's the next step. Again,
Sounds like video game music.
And it should. That's good. And like right here would be a good spot to have a voiceover, something that says, you know, you're listening to Why So Technical. So we'd have to find a professional to do that because there's no way I could. If you've ever listened to a podcast that I've run before this and this one too, you'll see that I'm very bad at intros and outros.
You're listening to Why So Technical.
Hey, keep it going.
That's about all I can do.
All right, Gatoon, what's your try?
Focused right now. Give me a moment.
Okay, you've got the hey Pony Boy. She'll be our voiceover person. Here's the.
I've seen that phrase before. I will do it for free. Oh, that's what you said when I first met you.
Yes, it was. Unfortunately, I find that I keep saying that a lot to you.
And nothing but silence.
Okay, here's outro. and because I'm so lazy, I went ahead and faded it.
So is that
up.
dead air? Is that the new?
Yeah. No, I should have played it. I should have managed my timing a little bit better. Here we go. Since I know I'm so bad at ending something because I talk too much, and you both know that about me too, I figured I'd give it lots of time to fade up. And again, I'm so bad at this, like setting it up and editing it and all of that. But the only way to learn is to do it. That's always been my
Sounds
thought.
like
With
an ice cream truck.
Well, I'm hoping to bring all the boys to the yard. What do you think?
I like it.
Cool. I think we're gonna win this video game too. I'm feeling good.
I've got my own noisemaker in the room right now, so I'm muting my mic when I'm not speaking.
Oh, it's okay. So if you haven't noticed, I'm all for the 8-bit video game theme.
Did you make this, or did you steal it from somebody?
It's not stealing if they give it to you for free.
I must have forgot.
Yeah. There's like websites that give you pod safe music that you can use. And as long as we give it forget it. You know the word I'm trying to say. As long as we do that. Yeah. As long as it's got attributes of its name on our website. Then we're, oh gosh, I'm on video now.
Yes, you are. I'm working on the sizing here. Come on.
And of all the times for you to put me on video right there when I messed up, thank you.
At least you weren't drinking out of that penis-shaped coffee mug.
Oh wait, it's right here. Oh wait, that's not a coffee mug. I'm going to drink on the mic. That's how professional this podcast will be.
Very good. Very good. Very good.
Now I
looking
know
better.
Pony Boy Sunset's a good liar because I almost believed her for a moment. If you're looking at the chat, which I recommend.
Do some cropping on this one.
So the audio levels that you're seeing on the YouTube stream, that's anyone who's talking, right? So even if someone calls in, they would see themselves.
That is
on the stream.
correct. That is
Okay,
correct.
cool.
It is all of our audio. It is what is actually outputting to the stream.
I made
Yeah,
a slight. I made a slight adjustment to my mic. I turned changed the EQ a little bit here. I just wanted to see how it sounded.
Mm-hmm.
Mm-hmm.
Mm-hmm. Uh-huh.
All right.
And yes, Eddie, that's exactly what it was, but you didn't have to tell everybody. See, it's been one of those episodes already, and we're only a half hour into it.
Nice.
That was good. Let me put a link to this in the chat room.
Yeah. There it is. I already got it up.
Hey, thank you.
I'm a little quicker
Oh.
than you.
Well, you're like light speed to my molasses.
If I click
It's
on
not
that, the cable coming from my internet system will melt.
Yeah, don't do it. Actually, bits loading, you are banned from going to the video because that might drop your connection, and we can't have that because you are the anchor of this podcast. So.
Hey, I want to tell you, I want to report that I had 2.97 meg when I checked a minute ago.
Can we make that a rule at the beginning of every episode that we have to say what our up and down speed is?
No, because I will cry myself to sleep.
So yeah, I'm running at a good 45 to, I guess, 7 right now. No one do a test, though, because that would affect your connection. So,
I'm
That's it, I
running the
quit.
test right now just to say that I can.
right.
We'll see if I get any dropped frames. I'm not getting any dropped frames on the post, so on the stream.
That's good.
So let's see. And
Well,
we're
let's explain a little. Go ahead.
and we're pulling 80, right? That's 81.
80 down.
Yeah.
WR250 in the chat room has 19.5 as his upload speed, which
I'm-
means he can see the data.
I'm happy if I can just get an IP address.
What's funny right now is you're working without one, right? You're connected to the ether, but not the net.
There we go.
Yeah, it's an all MAC address network.
Nice. Well, wait, on an all MAC address network, don't you have to use a Mac for that?
I think so.
Okay. I mean, I'm not all that technical, so I have to ask questions like that.
Well.
So let's talk for a minute about what it is we're doing here, the technology that we have behind the scenes to make it work, and why we would show up and put ourselves on YouTube. I mean, I'm looking forward to the jokes and the gifs. Oh, thanks for showing us your really fast connection here.
There we go. There we go. We got 81.22 down with 8.8 up.
If I wasn't afraid that my connection would just drop totally right now, I would see if I could beat your upload speed.
I'm using a Progresso soup can with a piece of baling twine at the moment.
That's why you brought that can over last week. Okay, I see.
Yes.
Actually, on this stream right now, that's the best I've looked. Oh, nope, you just broke it. I looked really good there for a moment.
I had it all positioned out with you in the bottom, and then I decided to put you in the top, and then it was all over the place.
Thought I'd call really quick on my bat phone back here. I just noticed that. I just noticed that in the back. So, okay, this podcast, again, is going to be called Why So Technical, and we're going to talk about tech. We'll bring up news, things we're interested in. I'd mentioned earlier we'll do tech support if people want to. I know most people think that that's not compelling radio, but we aren't in this to do compelling radio. We're in it to just have fun and geek out for an hour or two. So bring your tech support questions. We'll see if we can figure it out. Make it a contest. Who's of the group of us that are talking, who will figure it out first? Well, that's what we'll do with it. All right, we'll give points for it. So that's one part of it.
I think I'd make a good ref then.
A good ref, nice.
Yeah.
Well, okay. So in that, let's also talk about our backgrounds, and I guess to start with that, I'll go first and talk about the fact that I've been an IT administrator, network guy, PC repair technician, developer, web developer, you name it. I've run all ends of the technology spectrum, from a back-end server closet to supporting just a regular desktop, or point-of-sale systems too. I help support a network nationwide of that. So I've dealt with a wide range of technical issues, and I love technology just personally too. If there's a new phone that comes out, I want to buy it, I want to use it, and I want to see, how it works out. So that's kind of my background. I love technology. I also love to game. It's just been a while since I've been able to do that, since I spend so much time working on things. So I look forward to talking and catching back up to the gaming world within this too. So Cartoon, talk about yourself.
I too have spent a lot of years in IT. I currently do K through 12 education IT, so I focus on Google Apps migrations and Google deployments. So I spend lots and lots of time sitting in Google stuff and reading everything. I actually worked with Curtis, actually under Curtis at one time in my life.
I'm sorry.
But he actually gave me my first real IT team break, and I've never really looked back from anything else. So I've got a very, very broad skill base. I've worked in everything from Novell to just about everything in the world. So Exchange, Novell, group-wise, we've done it all, and I've been there, done it. Spent a lot of time in retail and restaurant point-of-sale systems, very similar to Curtis there for a little while, and so I've been, I've been around for a while. It seems
You've
like
been around the
longer.
world.
Actually, I have legitimately. Yes. So
I've got to attend to something. I'll be back.
Okay, no problem. So we'll come back to bits loading in a moment. Gatun, you might have heard on past podcasts. He is our official expert. He mentioned Google. He is a glass hole, which means he's somebody who has a Google Glass, which is the uh, gosh, I just drew a blank there. I was hoping you would grab them. It's the glasses that have a camera and a computer on it, so you're connected to Google through your phone and able to do all kinds of cool things. And it's really things, and it's funny to watch when you go out in public with this, how people just react instantly to it. It's pretty amazing.
Yeah, it really is. I almost got kicked out of a restaurant for wearing them once, so that was pretty fun.
That's awesome. The
it,
things you do for technology.
it was a Steak and Shake, which was really, I mean, just
That's not a restaurant, man. I'm sorry.
that's not really a restaurant, but come on. I mean, you can't kick somebody out of a Steak
Right.
and Shake.
That's where you go when you're drunk at 2:00 in the morning.
I mean, that's where you're supposed to get kicked out of at 2 o'clock in the morning, not for lunch.
Right. Well, you don't
Um,
get kicked out because their standards are not supposed to be that high to want to actually
Actually,
kick someone out of it.
I'll be right back. I want to grab them real fast. They're just right outside of my view.
Okay. Well, now I'll panic since I'm the only one on camera and on mic, but that's all right. If you want to call us to, again, this is a test episode to make sure we've got everything in place. You can call us on Skype. If you search for the screen name, Why So Technical, that's our screen name, and add us, and you can call in through Skype, or you can call through the phone, and our number is 317-708-4500, and hopefully we'll figure out some great combination of what those numbers mean. We're not nearly as cool as some of the other podcasts that have really, really good last 4-digit numbers, but just remember 4500 at the end. And there is our resident glass hole. If you can see on the YouTube stream, you can take a look at what these are like. Explain what you're doing. I can't hear you, by the way.
Yeah, I probably want to turn my volume back up so you can actually
Yes.
hear me. Just adjusting it and actually powering them on. I haven't actually put them on in a while, so it really kind of surprises me that they're powering up perfectly fine.
What's the battery life on those?
On a really good day, you'll get about 8 hours out of them if you're actually using it. The last couple editions of the software, which by the way, these are actually end of life. They're no longer supporting them. There is a business side of the world that could possibly get them, but
So there's not a 2.0 version of them then.
no, they pretty much ended them at that point.
That's what drives me crazy about Google. I mean, they do all these really cool things. There's been awesome projects that they've put out there. And I know you're currently doing another one of those with their cell phone service, but I just hesitate to spend the money on it and then watch it become a dead end product. Because I like Google Wave. You and I both used Google Wave, and I really liked that. And all of a sudden, we lost it. I mean, not all of a sudden. It took a while, but they got bored with it, and then it was gone. And same thing is what happened with the glasses.
Yeah, but the technology they ended up researching for Google Wave actually became one of the founding factors of their live editing functionality within Drive and Google Docs. So,
Don't try to make me feel better about it. I liked Wave, but you're right.
but exactly. I mean, what they actually developed there was fascinating. It was unbelievably good, and what they ended up making and where it went going forward was fantastic. So, actually, when I booted it up, it recognized my phone because it's been paired to it once before. And
What phone is that?
This
Talk
is
about your phone.
this is my Nexus 6. I am a pure Google user.
That would be stock Android on your phone. You don't have to
That's
root
correct.
it. Any of that
And I
stuff.
do have the white Nexus 6, which looks beautiful.
The
It is.
Stormtrooper.
It is utterly beautiful. The so yeah, this is it recognized that I had it paired to it once before, and it actually asked me to repair it, even
That's
though
cool.
this phone's been wiped out like 4 or 5 times since I've used I've used the glass. So it
That's a
actually
nice
picked
thing.
right up, and I got a 77% battery life. Um, the last time I actually used these, I was in China. So,
Did
um,
they ask you questions about it when you went through their equivalent of customs?
no, because it was buried pretty deep in my bags.
Okay.
So nobody really asked me anything about it, and I didn't like wear them out in public there because I was already getting enough stares because I was a fat American white boy walking around in China, so I was getting enough stares as it is. So I didn't really need these to add to it. And
You
I
didn't want to spend the night in a Chinese prison or jail as a spy.
Yeah, that could have possibly happened. So
Well, the funny thing is, China already knows everything that's happening on those currently. So,
So yeah, it actually just booted up, and I can't believe it. I mean, it still has the picture from 4 months ago when I had it open the last time and took a picture with it. But
cool.
the coolest parts about these things, the stuff that I liked the most, the wink to take a picture was fantastic. That was just
Mhm.
awesome because it's hands free and you can take pictures with it. Answering telephone calls with just your voice, it'll come up and just say it. You can reply to text messages with it and everything like that. So it was like really the start of what Google now has become. Like a lot of their research with the voice activation stuff came through here.
Right.
So
Well,
yeah,
that's the positive, I guess, to all these projects that they get started, put a lot of money into, promote, and then drop at some point, right when it's really reaching critical mass, and they drop it. But then the research they put into it does carry over into a lot of cool products. Really quick to reference some things from the chat room. Star Mountain had mentioned how she had two windows up, one to see the YouTube and another for the chat. And I just wanted to let her know we do recognize that. And I'm working on getting us a chat that has the video stream or the audio stream and the chat all together. That way we can control all that in one location. It's going to take a little bit to get that all tested and working. And I'll talk about that at some point, but trying to build a system on some web, not trying, I am building on some web technologies called AngularJS and Node.js. There's some really cool JavaScript based technologies that you can build web apps from. So getting it set up to where you can select all of those, have the stream, have the video if you want, and be able to chat with everybody at the same time. So awkward pause.
yes, absolutely, and I'm all for that there, Curtis. I definitely want to get that done. And I disabled the chat in YouTube because we did make the decision to stay with the IRC chat system instead of using YouTube chat functionality. So
Yeah,
we want to try to be somewhat unified. I mean, we're
yeah,
not amateurs here.
and we, well, speak for yourself, but we do want to be able to brand things to have the why so technical brand. Uh,
Yeah, and YouTube really does give some of that functionality to us too. We do have a Google Plus page as well, so you can come visit and share it's there. And I'll try to put all the events out there on there too. So
yeah, yeah. So subscribe if you're interested in keeping up with it, and we welcome again anyone to interact with us. Another part of the show is we want to have more than just the three of us as hosts. So we're going to invite anyone who wants to join in, be a co-host with us for an episode. Just let us know, and we're going to do this every other Thursday from 9 to 10 is our planned time period. So if you want to be part of it, just let me know. You can send me an email at themudking@gmail.com. And we'll also have a podcast specific email address soon that you can also send it to, which will go to all of us. So the goal of this is to have a distributed network of people interested in technology, and just whether you're interested in it from the point of view that you understand it well and want to explain and be part of the discussion of it, or if you just have a lot of questions and you want a full episode to be able to ask us everything you can come up with, feel free to join us for that purpose too. So we're just trying to have fun. So anyone who wants to be a part of it, join. Bits loading. Do you want to talk about your background some?
Not really.
Good answer.
Yeah.
But you,
Uh, go ahead.
I was going to say that you're an important part of this from the point of view that you have something a little different than Gatun and I, and it's a very critical understanding of electronics that without that, none of this tech could work. And there's so many ways to extend it with that. So there you go. There's my warm intro for you.
Well, I started out. I was a board level electronics tech. I did actually worked for a radio shop, so we did two-way radio systems, RF networks. Did mostly the RF side of things, but again, I did some board level stuff. I've been in done some closed circuit TV, networking, some automation, just different things throughout the years. Right now, I am a datacom technician, doing video and data networks. So kind of along the same lines of some of the things you guys are doing, but now that's what pays the bills. I still do some contract work and some consulting for some of the stuff that I've done in the past, and work with some radio stations and things like that. So just a variety of things that whatever I can do to make a little bit of money and gain some more experience.
Well, and you're the guy I go to when I have questions on things that relate to the world of just audio equipment connecting and working together, and you have so much more experience in that. And at some point, I'm going to get my ham radio license, and I'm going to lean on you heavily for that. And then hopefully someday, what is it, a QSL? Is that the right term?
Yeah. Is ham radio? Is that where you go eat pork steak?
Yeah. Do they have bacon there?
I think so.
Okay, cool. Because I'm a vegetarian, but I consider bacon to be God's candy, so it's excluded from that. So
yeah, a QSL card. Sure, I'm assuming that's what you're talking about.
Yeah. So I intend someday to not just call you on a phone or Skype, but to pick up a ham radio. Is that what you do? Do you pick up a ham radio? I'm going to pick up the ham radio, dial you up.
You just have to have a napkin handy as well.
Nice.
And that's score one for you as I try to snort like a pig.
Just a small, in defense of ham radio. You know, a lot of people think that ham radio, it's some old guy sitting in a dark room with a Morse code key, you know, with food on his shirt, you know. Yeah, I'm sure there's some of those guys, but ham radio has evolved with technology as well. I mean, there's all kinds of stuff you can do with it. So it's not just, you know, using a Morse code key. Of course you can still do that, but there's all kinds of digital communications and digital voice over IP stuff. I mean, there's all kinds of things. So I mean, it's a pretty interesting hobby.
Oh yeah. And the great thing about that too is that when technology and everything collapses, ham radio will still work, and shortwave radio.
Well, the thing that I tell people is, sure, I mean, I love having my phone. I like having the internet. I mean, I'm just like everybody else from a standpoint of relying on it and using it. But it's awful nice to know that, hey, I can take my car battery, I can take a radio and take a piece of wire off of a spool and throw it up into a tree and be able to communicate if I have to. Sure, there's going to be a compromise, just like, you know, there is with anything, but it can be done.
Yeah, that's so cool to me, because I have no base for it. Like if you tell me to take two PCs and make them communicate with each other and write a script that when I do one thing on one system and then jump over to the other system and make it affect something else, I can do that and it's no problem. But then what you just described, I could not do that. If you gave me a spool of wire and say communicate with somebody using this, I would look at you like you just spoke Chinese. I'd have no idea. So I need to learn that.
And you know, the computers are a big part of it. I mean, I've got computers that are running as servers that run the backbone of some of my networks for voice over IP. I mean, I use them for remote control and things like that. So there's really, on the subject of ham radio, there's really something for everybody, you know, as far as little flavors of the hobby.
Yeah, well, and you mentioning how computers are involved in it so much, that's something that I didn't realize, because when I think of ham radio, I think of, you know, the old style. Like if you've seen the movie Frequency, where which I'm guessing in the ham world, there's probably things about that didn't work out right. But that movie is kind of the vision I have of ham radio in my mind. And
Well, that's a classic. That's a classic image. Yeah.
yeah, so to realize that there's so much automation and computer back into it, and because you can basically surf the web, right, using ham if you wanted to.
Well, yeah, and there's equipment out now, and it's really, again, it's one of those things. Well, okay, is there really a point to it because we have wireless networks and such? But there's actually radios out there that you can get what we would call low speed data. 128 kilobits, but still, it's through a ham radio, and it's through a UHF or a VHF frequency, which is very wide banded very narrow banded, so you can't get the throughput like you can on the higher frequencies like Wi-Fi uses. But yes, it can be done. And I mean, before we had email and before we had text messaging and all that, I was using a modem connected to a radio, communicating with the Mir space station. So been there, done that.
Yeah, that's pretty cool. So with that, is there a way that you can, and maybe I'm mixing my technologies up, but can you bounce a signal to a satellite or a space station, and
Yes,
when it comes back, find out the distance between the two?
Well, not the distance between the two, but there are amateur satellites, and I've personally used them. But the problem is you have a very short window when you can use it because it's only passing over you for 15 to maybe 45 seconds, depending on the pass and where it is on the horizon. But you can do that. There's guys that bounce their signal off the moon. So that takes a lot of equipment, though. A very big antenna array and a lot of stuff like that. So a lot of the guys that are doing that, that's all they do because there's so much to it that they really don't have the resources for anything else. But anyway, to answer your question, I mean, I don't know if there's a way you can figure out how long it takes. But you can just bounce your signal off satellites.
Okay, well, let's get to the heart of the question. Can I steal HBO using it?
I don't think so.
Okay, well, then I'm not interested anymore.
No comment. No comment.
Yeah.
No comment.
Well, back in the day, I was just reading something about this. The guys who figured out that they could get a signal from HBO satellites and with a big, I'm not sure what the big satellites are even called, but how easy it was to get that signal because it was unencrypted. I thought that was funny. I think I saw that while I was researching things about the NFL and their headsets and how much more complication there is during an NFL game with the communication systems that are set up during it. I just assumed it was RF or similar, like if you go to a race event where you can tune in to different channels to hear things, it's not encrypted.
Well, it is RF. It's just...
But it's encrypted
it's
RF.
Digital.
Yeah. Okay.
Yeah. I mean, and naturally digital, it can be encrypted a lot easier than analog.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. So, and I think you and I were talking about this one afternoon where there are so many people or so many frequencies they have licensed. I forget exactly what we had talked about now, but it was way more complicated than I thought it would be.
Well, they actually have coordinators that's their job, is to make sure all the frequencies work together.
Oh, yeah.
Make sure nobody's on the same frequency, they're not stepping on each other. I mean, that's their job to do that. And I'll be honest, I went to a football game last weekend, and I was looking more at the antennas and all the equipment than I was watching the game.
That doesn't surprise me with you. At least tell me when the cheerleaders were on the field, you were looking there.
My brother was with me, and he mentioned that, I bet that guy really likes his job. The guy that drags the camera around and videos
Right.
the cheerleaders. What a job!
I don't think he gets paid for that. I think there's a line.
I would pay them.
Right. I think there's a line of people, and they say, number 73, your number's up. It's your turn. And the guy, he writes a check for like $900. And
The
hey,
problem is I'd be tripping over the cord all the time because I wouldn't be paying attention.
right. Well, maybe that's why the camera's so shaky.
That's
could
probably
be very
it.
true. Very true. Yeah. I've actually got a little bit of background in radio stuff too, because I used to work for a GPS company that actually we communicated with our GPS units using 900 megahertz spread spectrum. as well as 400 megahertz solid
Must be,
frequency stuff.
RTK. RTK.
Don't know what that is.
Real-time kinetic. That's the latest GPS system that I think Trimble. Trimble does it, and John Deere's doing it. It's mainly for farming and surveying, but it uses UHF licensed channels and then 900 megahertz unlicensed in together with GPS signaling to make a more accurate system.
Yeah, we use the 900 to communicate with our units. Is actually a fixed width packet network. It actually passed packets around, which was
I'm
interesting.
not for sure if that's the same. How long ago was that?
And then the GPS was completely separate. We had just a receiver.
Okay.
The 900 was just for two-way communication. So
it's different technology. Then now what they're doing is they've got a GPS system. Let's use Trimble for example. You're familiar with Trimble, right?
Yeah, definitely. Those were our last units were actually Trimble made. Our last GPS receivers.
What they do is they use a GPS system just like normal, and then there's base stations on UHF or on 900 that use that. They're at a fixed location, and they have a GPS coordinates assigned to them, and then that's a digital signal that goes back to the I guess you would call it a transceiver because it communicates back and forth. But let's say you put it on a tractor. Well, the RTK system uses GPS and it uses that extra signal, whether it be UHF or 900, to make things even more accurate. It's almost like instead of triangulation, it uses a fourth signal. And I mean, these things are down to the I think half an inch or a quarter of an inch as far as where they're at in the field. And I mean, they actually there's systems that will steer the vehicles for them. They don't have to even drive them. All they have to do is turn around at the end, and it on the straightaways in the field, it does everything else. So that's what RTK is.
Now, see, I love a podcast where I don't know what the acronyms are.
Exactly. I mean,
And
I'm learning.
I don't know that much about it. I've been involved with a few installs from the base station standpoint, so I just have a little bit of knowledge. But it's pretty neat as far as the way it works. It's not cheap though.
So what we used our GPS units for, we put them on golf carts to tell us how far we were from the pin. That's what the company that I worked for.
Was that for surveying?
No, it was actually for like somebody playing golf. They could pull up next to their ball and it would tell them exactly how many yards to the pin it was.
Nice.
Was there an app they were using, like on a phone, or was
that must have been a country club
installed on the cart?
Oh wow!
Yeah, a multi-million-dollar business, and it was huge. And I was in that industry for almost 5 years, and yeah, there's a lot of turnover. And now with mobile phones, they're more accurate, and you can get an app on there for like $20. So
it does sound like the same concept as RTK, though.
Yeah, our last units actually were Wi-Fi based and use cellular signal to communicate, and then it uses a really high quality GPS receiver to get an accurate GPS location, and then it used the rest of its information. Now we used a completely different setup to actually do the survey because we actually pulled a lot more GPS data. We got contour and everything of the course, but.
So those GPSs that were on your on the golf carts were the UHF or the 900 frequencies. They were used just to communicate between the GPS systems.
Between that and the clubhouse, because you could actually read in the clubhouse could see every golf cart on the course and where it was.
Oh, so it was more like an AVL system, automatic vehicle locating.
Something like that, yeah.
It was reporting back so they could see. I see. So
was it like a low jack?
Our latest units actually had a plug into the unit, and we could actually shut down the units from remote. So
okay. It was not using the additional frequency for more GPS data. It was using it as a network.
It was using it as an actual data network. Yeah.
Got it. Okay. That's cool though.
Yeah, the last bit of our stuff was using Wi-Fi just for uploading large amounts of data because we did advertising and stuff on them too. So, of course, that's how
Well,
everybody makes money.
So it's similar to. I just have in my mind, just popped in my mind, some of those units that they have at the restaurants now, where they're on a network and you can play games and there's advertising and that kind of stuff.
You could almost have taken one of those and
Doesn't
hung
have
it
a
on a golf
GPS
cart.
on it, but
You hung it on one of our golf carts and it was the same.
could have taped a Garmin to it and you would have been good to go.
Pretty much.
So I forget what I was going to say.
I was going to say that's the exact same environment you have when you go to a BW3 as a golf
Right.
cart.
So yeah, and the advantage to using one of those two frequency bands you mentioned as opposed to Wi-Fi is if you're on a golf course, you've got a lot more, you got a lot more range with UHF or 900 versus Wi-Fi, where you're going to have to put a repeater or an access point or something every so often, and then worry about them, roaming from access point to access point. So I could see where those lower frequencies would be better.
The companies that tried to do the full Wi-Fi networks, they didn't do very well. But our 900s, we could put repeaters in, so we'd actually repeat the signal around the course wherever we had a weak spot. So,
if you're using Wi-Fi, wouldn't you have a lot of carryover between, or a lot of interference?
Well,
yeah,
depends on
and
how
you're
you
also
set it up.
and you're also talking about putting in a huge tower to broadcast that signal, where a 900 megahertz, you can just strap the dang antenna to the tree and you're fine.
So what happens when I'm on my cordless phone that's 900 megahertz, and all of a sudden I'm picking up data on a ball, like it's telling me the telemetry of it?
Well, you'll know it.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
Actually, our setup, we actually had spread spectrum.
What was that?
That was my telemetry impression.
Well, I like it. Wait.
That's what you hear if you stumble upon an NFL headset.
Yeah. Well, my worry would be that I'd go deaf because there's some kind of secret code encrypted in it. All of a sudden, I'm a Patriots fan when it's done.
Yeah, it's like having a remote implant.
Yeah. It's not until months later that it actually clicks.
Not to, I don't want to keep you from what you're going to say, Gatun, but I want to ask you real quick. Do you guys hear like an echo on me, or is it just in my headphones? Do you hear my voice echoing off in this room, or is it coming through to you guys?
I think there might be a little bit of echo, but it's not anything that I notice. You mean acoustic echo, right?
Right. Yeah,
Yeah,
I hear it. I hear it on the on the peaks of my voice, but I didn't know if it was coming through to you guys.
You sound fine to me.
Okay,
but you always sound fine to me. So
I need to put some carpet on the walls.
Star Mountain in the chat room would like to picture us shaved in wigs with makeup. And the funny thing is that's next week's episode. So
does this look infected?
Yeah. It's nothing that some penicillin won't fix.
Sorry to cut you off. Continue.
That's my fault.
Continue.
Let's go ahead.
I thought you were in the middle of saying something, Gatun, and I cut you off.
Oh, no. We're good. We're good.
I'm not trying to hog the show here.
Well, this is your show. We're just living in it. So, and I'm glad to. I mean, I actually asked, can I live in your world?
It sounds like you guys are doing all the work too.
Work? Yeah, you're right. It is. The problem is that like all the things that you think it's going to be really easy to do this, and it turns out there's a lot of pieces that need to be in place to get it good, to be able to take live calls, to have multiple hosts, to do video, to stream it. The nice thing is that Gatun, in his system, he's doing the video part of it. Like all I'm doing is sending to him the audio of callers and my video. And so he's getting the video part of it out, which takes one of the stresses off for me. And then I just focus on getting everybody connected as the hub for it.
You're fancy, though.
No.
I've got the fanciest thing in this room is I've got two
other than
19-inch. I got two 19-inch flat screen monitors. That's the newest edition.
Well, I'm sitting in front of 3 27-inch monitors and 124.
Yeah, I know.
Yeah.
I've seen it.
Yeah, you have.
I've got a 25 and 324s, but my overall setup is a little bit more than that. It's actually a flight simulator cockpit. So
we know who has kids and who doesn't here.
Yes. Well, man, his setup is awesome, though. I mean, it's really cool.
Sounds like it is. It sounds like it is.
And he has
I got a cool soldering station.
what is it?
I said I got a cool soldering station.
All right, thank you. I need to
station.
I need to clip that out. Gatun has one of the coolest cases that I have ever seen anywhere. This thing is a beast. It's got huge fans, water cooling. I mean, actually, let me take it back. Your old computer case was awesome. Your new computer case is even better.
Yeah, the old case did have water cooling and stuff in it back in, I mean, that's back in the day, man. I haven't used that thing in, it ran for almost 10 years nonstop with that water cooling system in it. But yeah, the new stuff isn't quite the same. But the new case is fantastic. I do love that new case.
Yeah, I actually got a hernia watching you carry your old case. That's how heavy it looked.
Yeah, it was a beast. It was a beast.
Yeah, it was. I remember you helped me years ago set up a water cooling system for a home theater system of mine that I ended up using for probably 3 or 4 years. It was kind of fun to have set up, but I need to do that. I need to enlist your help again to get water cooling in my current case, but I really need it for the GPU or the video card of it because the rest of it isn't. I just looked in the chat room and saw that Roswell's art said, I think Star Mountain. No, never mind. Join us in the chat room at ufoship.com if you want to be a part of some of the funnest. Is that a word? Is that funnest. Like actually? Is that actually in the dictionary? Funnest.
That's the most. Word if you live in Muncie.
True. Which is the capital of the Michael Van Deven fan club. I'm required to say that every time.
That's a licensing agreement, isn't it?
It is. It's part of Van Deven Enterprises. They took off one of my fingers because I didn't. Well, not they. He took off my pinky finger once because I did not keep that together when I said Muncie and forgot to say the home of the Michael Van Deven fan club, and I'm member number 1. But join us in the chat room at ufoship.com/chat. And sorry, I just had a synchronicity happen there when Ponyboy Sunset in the chat room said that she has a housemate from Muncie. Muncie is where most of the greatest people in history have come from. I think there's been like 2 people that went on to some kind of fame from here, and I don't know that
where
they
is
even.
Muncie?
It is somewhere in the Midwest.
It is Middletown, USA. If you actually want to talk about the Middletown studies, that's exactly what they were actually looking at. So,
yeah, if you were to take a map of the U.S., section it down to say this is the Midwest and here's Indiana, and then you were to randomly pick the area that you think is the least exciting, you'd be wrong that time, but your next choice would be correct. That'd be Muncie.
Got it. I think Art Bell has been to Muncie a couple times.
Well, that was probably because he was going to the fan club of Michael Van Deven. He didn't sign the guest book, though. I keep it in front of my house. There's been people who signed it, but I really can't read their handwriting, so they wrote in cursive. So.
I signed his fence post.
Do you want to talk about that? Is the statute of limitations over with now?
I don't know. I tell you, I drugged my wife there on her honeymoon, so she was real impressed.
That's why I respect you.
Well, it was interesting. I think he was in the Philippines when I was there.
But now, if you tell me that you're, how long have you been married?
Shotgun. That would be 5 years.
5 years. So your 10-year anniversary, you need to go back, or if Art happens to be in the Philippines, go to the Philippines. Or maybe actually what you need to do is on your 10-year anniversary, go to the Philippines, find the building that he lived in and owns a condo in still, and sign the wall of it.
I think that we've had enough creepiness with between Art and I, so probably should stop there.
That's your call, man. I'll respect it. I've got a question for you going another direction. Have or are either of you going to see the movie The Martian?
I probably will eventually.
I will eventually.
I mean, at the theater.
I have not seen it yet, no.
Okay, I went to go see it last weekend.
And I can't even make this podcast on time. Do you think I'm going to be able to make it to the movie theater?
That's a good point. Thanks for reminding me of that. And to think I was going to see if you wanted to join me to go see it. But then I thought, he doesn't even care about this podcast that he's been asking me for months to do. So.
Wait a minute. What?
Yes, I knew you weren't listening. That was my test. So I went to go see The Martian. I took my son, who's 8 years old, to see it because he really had been. Every time he saw commercials for it, he kept saying, "I need to go see this. I want to see it. I want to see it." So I checked, and the language wasn't bad. There was a few f bombs dropped in it, but nothing major. And there was like some scenes of graphic injuries, is what they said. But there was one scene of it, and I thought, well, how bad can that be? So we went to go see it, and it was the first like PG-13 movie he had gone to see at the theater, and we got through maybe two of the trailers, and I looked over at him where he's hiding his head because everything is far more serious than he's used to for a more age-appropriate movie, and it was funny to watch. I was like, oh, great. How's this movie going to go if the previews are already more than I think you should be watching at the theater? And then the movie starts, and they get to that scene of graphic injury. And I remember this is a Ridley Scott movie, so it's going to be very, very real. And without giving away anything of the movie, if you've seen the trailers, you probably already know about the scene. But like I almost hid my face from it, but I'm like, I won't. But I did that move of put my hand over my son's eye, but it was her eyes, but it was too bad, or it was too much because Matt Damon is screaming like he's dying, and I'm thinking, what's my son going to dream about tonight? But all of that aside, it was a good movie. I was surprised how much I liked it.
Awesome.
And
I will
so
definitely be going to see it eventually.
it's a good movie. I recommend it for everyone. And then from that, are you guys Arthur C. Clarke fans? The writer.
Me.
Hmm.
The reason I ask is I just noticed today a trailer that thanks guys. This island I'm sitting on right now, it's kind of fun. I just saw a trailer that the Sci-Fi Channel is going to be making a mini series of Childhood's End, and it's one of my favorite books of Arthur C. Clarke, and I'm kind of nervous how they're going to
What other
ruin
books
it.
did he write? What other books did he write?
We did 2001: A Space Odyssey. Him
Oh
and
yeah.
yeah, he was him and Stanley Kubrick did that, and he's done a bunch of stuff. That's such a great book, and it's about aliens showing up. Just one day, all of a sudden, there's spaceships, like big motherships, centered over major cities throughout the world. Think of Independence Day, where you had the big crafts that positioned themselves over all the important points. So these crafts show up, and then for an entire week, they're just silent. Like nothing happens. They don't communicate. They don't do anything. And so humanity just freaks out. And then it's funny to watch how things play out. And the whole story is about how people react and adjust and evolve based on this new interaction they have. And I don't want to give anything else away of it. You should read the book or watch the TV show. But I'm worried that like sci-fi, anytime sci-fi does their movies, they either make Sharknado or it's the same equivalent of Sharknado, but not popular. Like there was one where I remember watching on like a Saturday afternoon that some military guys go through a portal into a planet that has dinosaurs in it. So it's like the military versus dinosaurs. And I'm like, if it was, if it had been a good movie, just in terms of action, it would have been all right. But it was a sci-fi Saturday afternoon feature. It was bad.
I'm laughing at the at the chat room. I misread Star Mountain said did not look like Clockwork Orange. I thought she said it did not look like Cockwork Orange.
Well, I'm sure that's what she meant. I didn't know Sharknado was on Netflix now. Star Mountain just mentioned that too. She's the star of our chat right now.
Yeah, absolutely. Netflix, dude, that was the first thing I showed like on Netflix one day. I pulled it up. I'm like, Sharknado 1, Sharknado 2, and Sharknado 3.
Don't those have the dude from 90210? Can't think of his name. Oh, I got it. Ian Ziering. Okay, you guys, if you want to hang up now because I know the name of the guy from
90210. Okay.
I'm not saying that I watched it.
Yeah. Okay.
It might have been on the TV while I was doing like homework or something. So I absorbed it.
By homework, you mean sitting in front of the TV?
Well, yeah, I was studying the computer or TV, whatever.
I have sisters roughly Curtis's age that were slightly older than me, but that watched it religiously. And of course, when you have older sisters, they beat the shit out of you if they will want to watch what they want to watch. So that's what happened to
You
me.
will have
So,
that,
yeah.
Brenda?
Brenda.
What about Brenda?
From 90210.
I have no idea what you're talking about.
Oh, come on. You know. That's Shannon Doherty. That's her name,
No.
right?
That's Art's girlfriend.
Yeah, I have no idea.
Okay.
You don't remember all the references he made to Shannon Doherty?
No, I don't. I
Several
believe you,
times.
though.
What's that?
I believe you, but I don't remember
I
it.
think he's got a portrait of her on his wall, or he used to.
That's a good plan. I would too. What I was thinking was, I don't know if you guys are Kevin Smith fans, but during Mallrats, there's a scene, she's in that movie, and there's a scene where one of the guys walks up to her and just says, Brenda, as a comeback to her when she's giving him a hard time. So Roswell's art confirms that he did used to have a picture of her in the studio. I thought you were BSing.
No, why
honestly.
would I do that?
If we were playing poker right there, I would have called your bluff, and unfortunately, I would have probably lost some money. But so be it.
Wow.
Wouldn't be the first time I've lost.
Amazing.
It wouldn't be the first time
Is
I've
that
lost money on a podcast.
Hey, I have a technical topic. Well,
Okay.
maybe not really, but it's on my mind. I want to complain about it.
Do it.
I'm
Wait,
a
hold on. Let me
Verizon
mute.
customer.
Let me mute my mic.
I'm a Verizon wireless customer, and I was reading today that in November sometime they are going to for anybody who is out of contract and on unlimited data still, they're jacking the price up another $20 from $29.99 to what's that? $49.99,
Yeah.
I guess. So yeah, so and of course unlimited data, just like everybody else, they throttle it anyway. It's not, I think I'd be lucky to get a couple meg on my throughput. So I'm not happy about that. I will be maybe this weekend switching carriers. So
Oh, really?
I'm not for sure when it's supposed to start, but it kind of upset me just because one of the comments made in the article was that they're only going to do it for people that are out of contract, even though, some of us have been with them for, better than 10 years. And the other thing is they're not going to make changes to corporate accounts or anything like that. It's just individuals. So what a nice slap in the face.
Yeah. Be a loyal customer for this long and get slapped in the face. Yeah.
That
And
reminds me.
I've been thinking about changing anyway, but this is going to be the final straw.
Yeah, that reminds me of something I just was reading on Facebook. Let me get my thoughts collected. Sprint has a deal right now where if you are a new customer with Sprint and you happen to be a DirecTV customer, they'll pay your bill for a year. And so I'm reading through the details of it and find out that, and in the comments, people are saying how, they're a loyal customer, just like you said, for years of Sprint, and they happen to be DirecTV customers. What kind of discount are they going to get? And the Sprint customer service people are giving them all kinds of BS about, we care about our loyal customers, call in, we'll do this for you, we'll do that. And then the people this is what's great about social media. You get this real-time interaction. So all these people come back and say, your phone support people said they can't do it. The system doesn't support it, blah, blah, blah. So if you're an existing customer, you're just left dead in the water. And what's even worse about it is you think, okay, well, I'll get back at the system by canceling my service and starting it up again. Well, now all these service providers, they maintain your account when you when you cancel it. So just because you're inactive, you're no longer a customer. And so that's how they get you in the future. There's never going to be a time where you can get this good deal. It just drives me crazy. And Sprint, like their new stuff looks good. And in terms of, you get unlimited data, it's a cheaper plan and that upgrades your phone forever. All that stuff looks great, but their connection is terrible. I mean, there's such a bad coverage area that it drives me crazy. So I will not be switching to them, but I wanted to.
Yeah, and where I live, I mean, Verizon's really the best has the best coverage. Even AT&T and Sprint, they don't have very good coverage in my house. I just, if you haven't gathered, I live in a black hole. But
You mean
I'm
Indiana?
yeah, somewhere in Indiana. I just I'm done with it. It's I'm going to switch and I'll deal with it because I get a better discount with a couple of the other carriers anyway. And like I said, I've been wanting to switch, but I really was looking for a reason, and I think I've found it.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, that's the. I've been a loyal Verizon. Well, not unfortunately. I sold Verizon cell phones back in many years ago, and I've been a loyal customer ever since because you know, and they gave me a lot of grief when I bought a Nexus phone direct from Google and tried to activate it when it was known to work. It took me several days to get them to finally do something. So yeah, it was pretty sad, and that kind of pissed me off. And I
They're all the
almost
same.
I almost switched to Project Fi, which is Google's cell service phone option. I got an invite for that and almost switched, but I have some account issues that I have to use an account I don't want to on my phone in order to make it work, and so I've not done that yet. So
That's
Well, it'll be interesting to see what they say when I tell them. I mean, I'm out of contract, so it doesn't matter. I could just pull the plug. But I really I don't like change, and I don't want if I have good service, I don't want to switch. I'm happy. I mean, I'm even happy paying quite a bit more than some people pay for what I've got, just because if I'm satisfied, I'm willing to pay it, and I don't have the time to fool with it. So I really am not looking forward to going and porting my numbers and getting new devices and migrating everything over. But it's going to have to happen.
yeah. Well, what's frustrating too is if you're a Verizon customer, that pretty much takes AT&T out of the mix and sorry, T-Mobile, both of those out of it because of the networks they're on, unless you have a phone that happens to have both the GSM and the other chipset in it, which means you bought your phone independent. You bought one of the phones that's not tied to a carrier. You're going to have to replace all your hardware. I really can't believe that here we are in 2015 and we do not have one unified backbone of cellular technology that provides high speed internet to everyone, voice as data, and is ubiquitous. And you can use any device to connect to it from any carrier.
yeah,
It's
I think I may just stick to my ham radio. Get rid of cell phones.
that's why I need you to help me get my license so that I can then talk to you still when you
At
drop.
least we could talk to each other. Yeah.
Right.
I should patch this. I should patch my radio into my soundboard and do a show from the ham radio sometime.
I agree. Well, I intend to do to have a show done through my Asterisk phone server.
Yeah, right.
So
Yeah.
why not? Part of what we're going to do with this is it gives us a chance to let other people watch us fail with technologies.
Well, it probably is a certain type of entertainment, I suppose.
Well, it's entertainment for someone, but it's not really intended for the viewer to be enjoyed. It's more for us. This is a
yeah,
very self-centered podcast,
yeah. We don't care about
Yeah,
our viewers. What are you talking about?
but we do want our viewers to call and
we're
be a
doing it
part
for
of
the
what we're doing.
money.
Yeah, we're
Wait, you guys are making money off of this?
yeah. You don't get a salary.
Well, no, I pay it.
Oh, thanks.
Well, that's why you don't get any.
Yeah, I'm willing to give you both 15
You're the
cents.
best business owner ever.
Yeah, I'll give you 15 cents for every 20 hours you log in this.
No,
But
I
if you
haven't done.
if
Go
you
ahead.
miss a week, then it resets.
I haven't done any research on this really, but I thought that the whole point of LTE was to have a unified system in the future. Is that not what
No,
LTE was?
it is, but all the carriers have to. I mean, what I'm saying though is that everyone has to use the same backend for it. Like, I don't care who your provider of
Well,
the hardware is.
Well, that's what I'm
but
talking about. You're talking
it-
about the difference between GSM
Yeah.
CDM.
and CDMA, IDEN, which I think's gone now. But I'll give you a little piece of trivia on IDEN when you're ready for it.
Go ahead, hit me with some knowledge.
Yeah.
Did you? And I didn't know this until recently. But did you know that the original IDEN network, the Nextel network, was actually a what they call a trunked radio network. It was a two-way radio repeater network linked together with a telephone interconnect. So that's why I don't know if you guys ever had any experience with Nextel. I had Nextel originally.
I used Nextel for years.
The push to talk generally worked better than the phone part of it, and that's because it was based around a radio system, and then it had a telephone interconnect added to it for access to the public switch telephone network. So it was actually a radio system similar to what, just what I used to work on. Just a radio. It was just a fancy full duplex system. So just a little piece of trivia there.
Yeah, I used Nextel for years. A company that I worked for, that was the way I communicated with all my technicians. And it was, oh man, like it was a double-edged sword, because you had direct connection that didn't require a phone call. You could just hit the button, say, hey, what are you doing right now? Or I've got a question. So you ended up bugging people and intruding on their lives because it was easier. It felt less intrusive to do that. And so we did it more often, but the technology worked well. I did get to the point to where I had like a reaction to the sound that you would hear with the Nextel. Like they would use it in the ads. Like I can't mimic it. I wish I could. And actually, I don't wish I could, because yeah, I would have anxiety like I do now. But yeah, they worked really well. I mean, it was pretty solid technology.
Oh, yeah. I remember those days.
Mm-hmm.
I
don't want one again.
No. I mean, I get paid to use my cell phone for work, and I don't even give them my real phone number, because I use call forwarding for it, because I don't want them to know how to get a hold of me when I don't want to get a hold of, when I don't want to be getting a hold of.
And do you use Google Voice for that?
I do use Google Voice for that. So,
and that's something we should talk about, because I don't think people realize how useful Google Voice can be to give you a way to create what I would say in the developer world, to abstract away your phone. That's it? Oh gosh, man.
Oh man, he's got
do not make that sound again, because I might actually like have a panic attack.
Oh, yeah. I won't do it.
Yeah, I've got this terminal here that's not working. I was wondering if you could tell me what the reset process is on it.
I used to love Nextel.
I did too, if it had nothing to do with work.
Yeah.
But
I just used it to BS with my buddies.
Well, then I would have liked it for that. But
the only
unfortunately, it was
the only reason why we had one was for work purposes. I remember those days.
Yeah, and it meant that I could call you anytime. Like it's 11 o'clock at night.
And it would sit there.
I wasn't that important.
Yeah, it would just sit there and continue to beep all night until you answered the damn thing.
I've got a funny story about those too. There was one night I'm laying in bed and somebody hits me on the Nextel, and I assume it's one of my coworkers. So I go over to the phone, pick it up, and say, "Yeah, what's going on?" Go, "Hey, what's up?" And the person comes back and says, "I know where you are, and I know what you did, and you aren't going to be able to F with my girl anymore." And I write back, or I hit the button back, and I say, "I don't know what you're talking about." And he says, "I know where you live, and I'm on my way." And I said, "I can give you my address if you need it, because I haven't messed with your girl." And so we go back and forth, and I find out that he's not in the same state as me. So I just, play it up as much as I can. So I assume somewhere in New Jersey, this guy was sitting out in front of someone's trailer, getting ready to go in and bust up somebody for messing with his girl. All the while I'm sitting at home in Indiana, untouched. Yeah. But I just thought it was weird. How did somebody get my number from Nextel? Because you have that ID number.
If I remember right, it was, there was an ID number for the push to talk part.
Was that related to the FCC radio ID then to it, rather than like a MEID or MEI or?
See, and I don't know. I'm not for sure how that worked, but theoretically, if it should have been an ID on the radio network, and then I don't know how that worked. I really don't. But I do know that there was a separate ID for the push to talk part.
Yeah, it wasn't actually directly tied to the hardware, because when you switched phones, your identification code didn't change.
That's true. You're right.
Well,
It
that
wa-
was
it
on
was
the
tied
SIM card then.
It was tied to your SIM, yes.
Yeah, it was all SIM card
Right,
based.
right.
So was that in some way
Could have been
broadcasting
the SIM card
out? Yeah.
I mean,
Or there was probably some kind of logic controller on the head end of the network that identified all that and figured all that out. There had to have been.
Yeah.
you were probably one of the few cases of a cranked direct message call. You know that, right?
Yeah.
Somebody was just
Well-
randomly typing in numbers and saying, "I'm gonna come there and get you."
Yeah. Well, once I, recalibrated myself to understand the situation, then of course I had fun
Warming up
with
the
it.
pickup truck.
Yeah. That's good because mine's already ready. I've got the gun rack in the back. Let's do this.
Yeah, mine's a diesel. It's always running.
Yeah. Yeah. I've got a dually. Let's do this. So, how is our video feed going? I haven't watched it for a while. Are we still good and broadcasting?
We are
5x5?
We are still good. We are still broadcasting. I had some weird health issues because I had my bit rates all wrong, which are now
Oh, really?
corrected. So we have better. I can't even tell you how many people are viewing because it's not really. It says 3 people watching right now. So I mean, hey, that's better than 0.
I think
Yes, it is.
that's a record.
It is for anything
That's a
I've ever
record for
done.
this show.
It is actually. That's just so people understand. This podcast already is so successful that we have record numbers tonight on this episode.
Somebody already asked if we're going to do it again. That's more than I expected.
Yeah, actually, any moment now we might have that that thing that they pull you off of the Apollo Theater stage that could show up at any moment for this. So just be on the lookout. Duck and cover, guys. That's the key to this podcast.
Oh, somebody just asked in the chat, video what? Here, I'll post this is a link. We're actually streaming this up on YouTube as well. So we have it on both locations in the stream and on YouTube. So we've got a little bit of video going on.
Talk about the technology behind that. What is it you're using to make this stream happen?
Oh, yeah. It's actually functionality of what YouTube has had for a while for their streaming functionality. But I'm actually using a open source product called OBS, which is Open Broadcaster Software. And I'm actually using the multi-platform version, which is actually a new rewrite of that software. And there's some things missing, so some weird stuff happens with it. But the green screen functionality, like you can see here, I've actually got a green screen behind me, and the chroma key part of it works extremely well. Of course, good lighting always helps that. So yeah, I've got multiple layers of overlays and stuff like that on here. So yeah, it's been a lot of fun. I've been trying to build this up for a little while, and I've had a blast doing it. Curtis has been helping me out with the audio side of it since he knows it better than me.
Which is just barely enough to get it done, but we're getting it done. The fun thing is being able to add each layer to it as we understand how it works and what our limitations are, get that going, and then add one more piece to it. So I expect we'll go that way for a while until this is just one smooth operation. Again, if anyone wants to call, I think we'll probably wrap up soon. I'd love to have either a Skype or phone call just to help us test to make sure everything's working.
Yeah.
If you're in the chat room.
So
Go ahead.
I'll actually switch our cast over. I'll actually show for just a minute one of my desktops that I actually have running right now because I'm actually recording the audio separately, and where I'm getting the waveforms for our wave display for the display of our audio showing, and so that's actually my OBS, and so that's what you guys are actually seeing. So when I click it back off, it actually goes back to our previous scene, so you guys can actually see what's going on. So
Yeah, I think that's cool. So if you do want to call on Skype, you can just search for Why So Technical Podcast. That's our name on there. And our phone number is 317-708-4500, 4500. Feel free to call or wait till next episode and call us. But help us out by first off subscribing if you like what we're doing on the YouTube channel, and I'll put that in our thread on bellgab.com for people to find. our archive of shows are going to be on YouTube. So we'll end up having, or they'll be archived on YouTube. We'll end up having our own website too that has each of these episodes on it we can watch too. But if you want to just search for us and find our channel, all of our episodes will be there, and you can watch them at your leisure. So.
And it looks like everybody, we've got good support so far. So thanks everybody for the comments.
Yeah, thank you very much.
I'm definitely not a broadcaster, so.
Well, and that's the thing for us that we'll probably never be. We'll be good enough at what we hope to at some point be good enough at this to where it's second nature in terms of when we go live, we're not pressing buttons in a panic and trying to figure out things are going, which was basically the first half hour before we went live for me. I mean,
Well, that's okay. That's part of it.
Yeah, I've done broadcasting of podcasts before, but I mean, I'm nowhere near as polished as some of the others you've listened to, and that's probably been obvious if you've downloaded the episodes that I've done. But the best way to get good at it is to practice, and that's what we're doing.
Since this is a technical podcast, and they are there's in the chat room here, they're asking about some of the equipment. Are you interested? And some people probably know, but are you guys interested in letting everybody know what you're using and how it works?
Yeah. Do you want to? We were talking about you're away for a moment. We were talking about how we were streaming to the video.
Yeah, I heard that.
Okay, cool. Do you want to talk about what you have on your side, and we'll just go you, Gatoon,
Sure.
and then myself?
Nothing fancy, but what I'm doing, I'm coming in on Skype, and I'm using a Audio Technica right now. It's I'm going around the back of it to read the model number here. It's a AT3035. It's a condenser mic, which I will eventually be switching to a dynamic mic at some point, but using a Behringer mixer, 16-channel mixer, running USB, coming in USB into the workstation right now to Skype, and that microphone is going through two Behringer processors, which are not tweaked in yet. I'm using one for a gate and one of them for an expander. So, or excuse me, one of them for a compressor. It has expander function, but I'm not using it. So that's what I'm using here.
Okay, Gatoon.
Yeah, I'm actually coming in on. We're all on Skype, so that's where most of the audio is coming from. I'm actually my microphone is a Shure SM7B. Mainly because of Curtis and how good he sounded with his, and then of course I did my research, and it's a fantastic microphone. I've got a really long arm for it because of my specific setup that I have here. I have to have a little extra length on the arm, so I've got a tri section arm to hold it. That actually runs into a cloud lifter mic activator. Which then runs into my Z10 Allen and Heath mixer. So, and I also have a Foresight 2 in 2 out. That's actually where you guys are getting my audio from. The stream is getting my audio direct, of course, on the YouTube side, and then the stream going out to the audio only guys. That actually comes from Curtis, and that's going across the 2 in 2 out for you guys. So, and of course, I'm getting their audio back through that. My mixer is actually direct USB, so that's how that's coming across. But I can actually show you guys a picture of what I'm sitting in front of.
Do it.
Do it.
Do it.
That's
I
actually
can't do that. That Allen and Heath board is cool.
It is. It's a good board. I like that one.
This is actually where I'm sitting right this moment. My mixer and some of my lighting stuff is not in this image, but there's my case and my full setup with I do have a hands-on throttle and joystick and rudder pedals.
So do I.
So you have a hands-on throttle and joystick?
But it has nothing to do with computer technology.
Oh, yes, that is true. But yeah, that's my current setup. I'm looking at replacing my mouse. I'm looking for a different mouse. I don't like the weight of this one. It's too flimsy. I don't like it at all. But
we could probably auction that off.
Yeah. Here we go. Yeah, it's a Razer Naga 2014 edition. So I'm sure there'll be people out there wanting one, and probably get rid of that.
This mouse has been used during the podcast.
It's been used by record numbered podcast listeners in our first episode.
In our first episode, we were at a peak of 6 total viewers on the YouTube side. So that was
I'll take it.
that's fantastic.
I actually loaded that YouTube link for a minute, and nothing started smoking.
That's pretty good to hear, actually. I guess maybe I could take the ban off of YouTube for you then.
No, you better not. I might start buffering.
Yeah, your bits might start loading. Which
That is cool. I like that the way you've got that set up, Gatun. That's cool.
Yeah,
it is nice.
The cockpit is actually a company that's out of Indiana. Surprisingly,
Say that again.
The cockpit.
Thank you.
It's a simulator pit, and it's actually Volair Sim, and that's actually one of the better priced ones that is out there, and it's super comfortable, and I love this thing. I really do.
That's cool.
Curtis with his shirt.
What?
His Colt shirt. You look like a manager or something.
Well, I'm going to be the next. I'm going to be the next coach. If you thought they're going to have a winning season next season, just wait till you see what I'm going to do to this team.
Oh, you'll do better.
Wow.
I got to show this. Oh, sorry, my backlighting isn't nearly as good. Let me see if I can find a.
Turn it.
There was a.
There you go.
Can you see that? That's the. I'm so excited about this very technical thing. This is the remote control from my mini split air conditioning unit. This thing works so well. It was starting to get hot in here, and it's so nice to fix it and it be quiet compared to a regular air conditioner. Like you hopefully can't hear the fact that I've got this thing running pretty hard right now to get the temperature down. When you have all this equipment running, it gets hot very quickly, and I'm in a small room too. So
yeah, I know what you mean, man. I want to turn my fan on, but it would be terrible for the audio on the stream here.
Yeah,
It's up to 78.2 in here. That's not too bad.
yeah. Let me see what I'm up to 80.2, but I just hit the air conditioner. I had it off for a while because it was getting cooler, but again, now the temperature is going up in the room, not outside. But
according to the intake fan sensor, it's 86 degrees in my room right now.
so it's warmer there. Well, you have some massive lights going in your room. They're LED though, right? Or are they compact fluorescent?
They're CFL, but that's not the heat generator in my room. It's the Dell server and the Dell laptops and the switches and the big ass workstation.
yeah, the workstation on its own, I'm sure. But I guess talking about what I'm using, I'm on a Shure SM7B. You'll probably see me go back and forth between this, and I also have a Audio-Technica headset that
No one cares, Curtis. We're already past that.
I'm not past it yet, though. I'm still trying to decide. I love this mic, the one I'm using right now. I love it.
Those are really growing on me.
You sound good though, man. I really do like the way your mic sounds right now.
Well, I mean, that's great. I'd like to get an Electro Voice, but we'll see.
I totally agree. The Electro Voice RE220 would be awesome, or even a 320. But I like this mic. I always have. But this, like Gatun was saying, he's got the mic arm, the boom that gets in the way. I like to have mine lower. I don't use it like coming down this direction. I prefer it going up. If you have video, you can see my very technical description of how I like my mic boom arms like this and not like this. So that's why I like the headset, because it gives me a lot more access to be able to manage all the equipment around me. But I like the sound of this mic, so I'll probably stick with it. So I've got that. It's going into a Yamaha MG124CX, which is a 12-port mixer. And from that, I've also got a Focusrite 18i2 and series of DBX compressors and a noise gate limiter compressor. And all that goes from there, branches off into multiple Focusrite 2i2s to give me all the connections for the hosts, for callers, for my voice over IP system. And then I've got a MacBook Pro that is what's sending out the stream for UFO Ship right now, for you to be able to hear the audio. And I learned recently
Magnificent.
that, isn't it great? All of that brings this quality podcast to you. Okay, I used quality probably in the wrong context, but still. Eddie Dean was saying the RE20 is, I said 220, didn't I? And it's the 20, is $450. And that's the only reason why I went with the Shure SM7B, because it has a built-in shock mount and I don't need any kind of pop filter for it, because this already, if you've seen the video, Gatoon's using the smaller foam filter or foam cover that comes with it. And that one was good, but my voice, I have a lot of plosives when I speak, so I use the bigger foam shield. So for $350 for this mic, I was able to get a shock mount and have the pop filter all be in one unit, versus the RE20, which is an awesome mic too. But when you buy that, then you have to get a shock mount, which is again at least another $150. So that price shoots up. And this mic is doing a good job. It's this mic has been used in the broadcast world a lot too. I don't think it's as well known as or as visually known as the RE20 is, but definitely a good mic. And I do love this one so far too. And I think that probably wraps us up for our first episode, doesn't it? Let me.
Yeah, actually, well, we just
Go
got
ahead.
something. Could somehow scroll the chat room on the feed. Actually, that's something I was playing around with, and I think we might eventually have a way to scroll the chat on the stream. Just got to get it off into an actual text file, self-loading text file, so I can put it out there. That's pretty easy to do with OBS.
And with WR250, who's a chat room and IRC expert between us, if we can talk him into helping us, we should be able to get that going.
Yeah, all we got to do is
I'm
get
glad you guys know what you're doing.
Yeah.
Somebody does. But between the three of us and anyone who wants to join us, we should be able to figure it out. So, well, guys, thanks for joining tonight. Join us again in not next week, but the week after that, when we do our next episode of Why So Technical. Thanks a lot for joining and listening in.
Thank you, guys.
Thank you. And
have a great rest of the week.
Yeah,
Thank you.
And have a good weekend.
Go Colts. Bye.